Hey, welcome to Atensionspace. So, this is a website that is very useful for me because it's a good visual representation for the process of how my life comes together and how my life is self-directing. But for that same reason, it may be hard to understand or have patience for or stick through for someone else. And so I just wanted to guide you through some of the essentials so that that could be a bit more likely. So let's give it a shot. Atension.space. You've got these pages up here. And it's kind of chronological. Here's a full glass pointing back. Here's an empty glass pointing forward. This is the page we arrived on. It's got projects I'm working on right now. Things that have bubbled up from the rest of this. This is the first page I worked on. And before it was a page, it was a bunch of loose notes. My OneNote. And you can see clearly still is mostly that. Endless notes on different things like existential risks, climate change, automation, AI, and how those risks come together in the patterns behind those risks, the patterns that are making those arise for us, given who we are at this point in our life, in our history, really. So here are the icebergs. The icebergs are kind of what's floated up from here into something crystallized and structured. So different topics like my Sapiens notes 3 years ago, or all the way to now, my notes on Awakening from the Meaning Crisis. This really great lecture series, really recommend it. And these aren't just, some of these earlier ones are just notes that might be copying just a lot of the ideas that are in the text, but some of the later ones are ideas, things that have thoughts I've had based on reading or watching the video. Down here you've got, different notes. If your mouse changes from looking like this to looking like this to looking like this, you can click on it and get to the content that provoked that idea. So in this case, it's a Harari podcast lecture, I guess. This is what my life was like in 2019, early 2019 and late 2019. It was all these new ideas coming together and just like a Cambrian explosion of them, just all these loose notes, stream of consciousness things. And there were patterns to them, but the more I went through the year, the less I could have a direction with those patterns, the more it was just overwhelming. And to the point that I realized that I had no direction with it. And all this was great, but if I can move with it, if I can't use it to direct myself and my actions and my plans, what I'm moving towards, then it would all just be another, course of action to avoid, another life to avoid. So I made the tension page. This is what I've been working on this year. It's very personal, but there might be things in here that when you read them, they'll ring a bell. They'll strike a chord. I recommend reading it out loud to have a chance at that. It'll strike a chord, and maybe the chord it'll strike is, this feels really wrong. He's not getting something here that maybe he should have gotten, and he's gone so far down this rabbit hole that he doesn't get it. If that's what it is, I want you to write it down. highlight it, annotate. It'll ask you to sign up. You'll never get an email, so you can just sign up. There's no downside. Post your comment, post to public. Maybe the thing won't be that you think it's wrong. Maybe you think it's missing something. Annotate. I think what you're missing here is, and post that. Maybe it's that you deeply relate to it. Maybe it reminds you of a story or something that happened in your life that in the same way was just around the corner of your vision, but you didn't really grasp it, but it had been following you for a while, and it was something important about you and the way you're moving through this world. Write those down if they come up. I don't know if they will. This is an experiment. But if they do, those are the ways in which I think you could relate to this. It's by trying to find ways that, this rings a certain bell. What else? This is the main page. Read it out loud. Read it with people. Those are my best suggestions for it. There's a bunch of Easter eggs, trapdoors like in Harry Potter. If you click on something, you might get taken to a bit more of a development of the idea. Might be taken to a different part of the website that birthed this part of the website. Like here, that idea came from Road to Unfreedom. And what's the last page? The last page is tense. These are poems that have come out of the last 2 years or so. The better ones are at the bottom, hopefully, because those are the newer ones. Where do the poems come from? They come from ideas, imageries, turns of phrase that come out of my living. And those are here. Rhymes and building blocks page. And where do those come out from? Where does their design come from? Well, it comes from what my life is like, the conversations I have, the way I relate to the world, the dreams I have, the stories I remember, the stories I hear. And that's going to be in here. I haven't made it yet. So that's about it. Main focus right now is read it, see if there's anything that's interesting to you. And more importantly, maybe anything that isn't that clear, but you resonate with deeply, with or deeply against, or you see that something's missing from it. I hope this is a conversation starter. That's what I want this to be. That's what I dream of this as. Conversation starter in these times where, if you're struggling, which you are probably in some way or another, what are the parts of your life that are just unclear with each other, aren't yet talking to each other? This is what this was for. And I think that is a process that can be helpful for you. And this is my way of starting the conversations that can make us relatable to each other with respect to those deeper patterns that a lot of us move through in life. And especially in this century, where the problems we face will be so particularly different than before, and how we need to react to them. So I wish you the best, and most of all, I hope we talk about this. Contact me anytime. Bye.